Hello again, everybody. I am out here in Zephyr, and I was gonna do another computer video. In my last video, I showed how to clone and upgrade your hard drive in your Macbook Pro to a SSD, and that's what is in here now. I have a solid state drive, and it has vastly improved the speed. I've also upgraded the memory. It came with 8 gigs of RAM, and I have upgraded to 16 gigs. So it has 16 gigabytes of RAM. It has a solid state drive. Runs pretty fast for a computer made in 2012. It does what I need it to do. I do like Mac OS, but I've always liked Linux. MX Linux is very fast on this computer. It's faster than Mac OS on this computer, and I can show you that on here. But first, what this video is going to be, I'm going to show you how to dual boot your MacBook Pro using a little flash drive like this, and this has MX Linux on it. You can use this flash drive to make your system dual boot, and you can run whichever operating systems that you want. Let's just kind of get into how this computer runs on both operating systems. Well, hello there. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to do a little comparison between Mac OS Catalina and MX Linux on boot up. The actual performance of it is better once it's on there running. I don't know how fast to boot up, so let's just find out. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the power button, and I'm going to hold down Option. And when you do that, it lets you select which operating system to boot into. So let's go with Mac OS first. We will hit the power button. As soon as we hear the tone, my finger is pushing the Option key, and you can see it popped up that, and I actually clicked on that at about 19 seconds, 1 minute 19 seconds. So let's see. There is that. You can't really see the icon for the internet up there. Now you, okay. We're a little farther away from my router than normal, so it may take a little longer to connect. There it is. Okay, now, as soon as it's connected, we'll go down here and click on Google Chrome. And there it is. Okay. Now, you'll be able to see, I'll put up how long that actually took on the screen. Alright, now, we're going to go shut down. And once it gets shut down, we're going to try this again, and we're going to boot into MX Linux. Once again, hold down the Option key. And I'm going to arrow over to EFI boot. That is my MX Linux. I need to change the name of that. But that is my MX Linux operating system. So I'm going to wait till an even 1 minute. And boom. And it's booting up. It's been 15 seconds so far. You can see the list populating over here of all the stuff. And it is connected now. Let's go to Google Chrome, and it's going to ask for password, and there it is. Now actually what time I was typing that in, it was probably pulling up. So okay, I think MX Linux is a little faster. We'll find out when I edit this video though. But now you can see that we have both operating systems working, and you can see that we can boot into either operating system that we want to, and they both work perfectly on this computer. So what we're going to do, we're going to shut this back down. I'm going to take my solid state drive back out of here. I have the original drive that came out of this computer. I'm going to put it back in, and it has just Catalina on it. It's the one that we cloned. If you're interested in how I cloned the hard drive, I have the original hard drive right here in this enclosure. This is actually the enclosure that I used in that video. But if you're interested in how I cloned the hard drive that is in here so that I could upgrade the hard drive to an SSD, then I'll put a link to that video up here, and you can go and check that out if you want to. Now that will allow you to completely clone everything on your computer and put it on your new hard drive, and you won't lose your data or anything. You'll have the same exact thing that you had before, just with better performance. But that's not what this video is. This video is dual booting. So let's get into this. We need a couple of things. You can probably see I actually already downloaded them both to save time, but we need this etcher, and I'll put the links to these in the description. You need to download this. Just click on download. It will download it and then install it. And also, you're going to want to come to the MX Linux site. Go to, this is the way I downloaded it anyway, and download latest version. It is right here. This is the newest version of MX Linux. As soon as you click on it, it will start downloading. Like I said, I've already got them both downloaded. So with that, what you will want to do is go to your Etcher app. You will want to plug in your USB. You'll see it pop up over here when it recognizes it. There it is. That is our USB stick that we're going to use. And in order to get this onto this stick to make your bootable USB, click Flash from File. You need to choose your MX Linux. It's right here. It's in, or mine went to downloads. Wherever you have yours set to go, it should be downloads by default, but you can change that. So if it's not, then go wherever you downloaded it to. And you can see it as an ISO. So you want to click on that, open, and you can see it's right here, and it wants you to select a target. Okay, so let's select USB flash memory right here, and you just click flash. Okay, it will ask you for your password, and you will have to allow it to access files on the removable drive. And you can see it's doing its thing right here. And it gives you an estimated time that it's going to take. We can probably fast forward through this. Okay, now it is finished, and you can see it pops up this little, what says flash complete, and it pops up this little message that says the disk insert is not readable by the computer because it is now a boot disk. So the computer is not going to recognize it as a flash drive. Actually, in order to make this back into a regular flash drive, you will have to go into your disk manager and format it. But for right now, we're just going to hit eject and we're going to remove it. So that has your flash drive made, your bootable flash drive with MX Linux on it, and it is ready to go. So now we'll go to our next step. To find disk utility, you can go up here to the little magnifying glass, type in disk utility, disk utility. Okay, it's already got it pulled up right there. And once you open it, then you can actually see the USB drive is right here. You're not using it yet, but this one does have MX Linux bootable disk on it. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go to your disk. Here it shows 249 gigabytes. It's 250 gig drive. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go up here to partition, and you want to partition your drive. This right here is what allows you to dual boot. Now you click the plus right here, and for your, you can either divide it in the middle, or you see this one is your main, the part that is not highlighted. This one is untitled. This is the one that you're going to be installing your Linux partition on. And you can make it whatever size that you want to make it. Let's make it 100 gigabytes. I think it's best to go over 50. And we are going to call it MX Linux. And you're going to want to go with MS-DOS. Okay. You also want to have a little bit for what they call swap. And the size of swap is determined by how much. Go up here and you can check and see how much memory that you have in RAM. And you can see we have 16 gigabytes of RAM. So it has to be over 16 gigabytes. So we'll click on main here, highlight it, and then you're going to want to add another partition. And this one just has to be just over 16. We're going to put it at 17. And it is going to be called swap. And also MS-DOS. And we will go to apply. And it's going to ask you. Now before you do any of this, make sure you do a complete backup of your computer, because if this goes wrong, you lose everything on your hard drive. So it would be a good idea to do a time machine backup or clone your drive or something. That way there's no chance that when you hit this partition button right here that you're going to lose anything. Right now we are going to click partition. Do not power off this computer while resizing is occurring. So you will click continue and it will do its thing. And what I will do is I will come back once it gets done. Alright, so as you can see it says operation successful. Say done, and you can see you got, let's say we'll go all up to here. You got the main, which is 133 gigabytes now, swap 16.47, and MX Linux 100.38. So you have 3 separate partitions here. So what we have to do is go to install our operating system. Okay, so we'll go up here. We're going to shut it down. Yes. Push the power button. Hear the tone, hit option. And it will check and see what all bootable drives are there. And you can see you have the main and you have EFI boot, which it is indicated as a USB. So that is your USB stick. So you will select it, let it go ahead and boot. And you can see it is booting into a live USB version of MX Linux. Alright, so what you're going to want to do, you can go ahead and close this out, or you can get on here and you can just check it out and make sure that you like MX Linux. Just get in here and play with it, play with the settings and stuff. Remember, any settings that you put on with the live USB will not be saved. So you're just pretty much playing around, making sure it works on your computer. Now, keep in mind it will be slow because you are running off of a USB and a flash drive. But now, once you've played with it and you decide, hey, I kind of like this operating system and I want to install it, you'll go up here and you will click on the installer. Okay. Give it just a second. Make sure your keyboard layout is correct. Mine's on US, which is correct. And you're going to want to go to custom install. You don't want to click on auto install using entire disk unless you want to completely wipe out the disk and you want to start over with nothing but MX Linux. So if you do that, you're going to erase your Mac operating system completely. So you want to go on custom install, and you're going to want to select for root, select your 93.5. It will be a little different than what shows up on your you just want to find the one that is close and that it is labeled MX Linux. So you will choose that one. And then for swap, you're going to choose your 15.3 gigabyte and click next. And you'll want to click yes, because it's going to go ahead and it's going to format it, and then it's going to put your operating system on it. So you click yes, and it's telling you it is going to destroy all data. So it's kind of asking you want to make sure you want to do this. So yes. Okay, now it is preparing. And we will come back when that does its thing. Okay, now it's waiting for my input. Wait. Computer name MX. Okay, you just want to set up everything any way you want. And that all looks right. And it's repairing it and getting it all ready. It's installing the bootloader right now. And we are just about done. Alright, so now we have gotten to the completion of the installation. You'll hit finish, and you can go ahead and leave it to automatically reboot. Click finish. It's going to shut down. Okay, now it is booting into. See, this is the way that it started out on the other hard drive at first. It would boot naturally into MX Linux at the beginning. And after a little while, it started on Mac. But we will, after this gets booted up and make sure it all works, then we'll shut it down and make sure that we can start it up in Mac. Okay. I haven't set up my networks yet. Okay, I'll go ahead and connect. Connect. And this little circle over here is what's telling us that it's trying to connect. Okay, now we are connected. Let's edit some of that out. Okay, now we are connected to the internet. It shows bars there. And this little welcome screen is kind of handy. You can go through. It's got a user's manual on it. Video that was recorded with low volume or a movie that is lower volume. I can't turn this up loud enough to actually hear it with the regular Mac operating system. Okay, now we need to make sure, we'll shut our computer back down. We need to make sure that our computer still starts up in Mac OS also. So we will allow it to shut down. And then we'll start it and we'll hold Option. Tone, we hold Option. Okay, now we see it still says EFI boot. But you know, this is your Linux. And when you go over to Main, there is your Catalina. You can see a little Apple logo pop up. And your Catalina partition should boot up just fine. Like I say, I am now used to a solid state drive. So with this old drive in there, the original drive, it seems so slow to me. Okay, so you can see Catalina is working fine. And also MX Linux is working fine. So we have them both on here. Okay, so that is how to dual boot your MacBook Pro in MX Linux and Mac OS. I have found that most of the time, unless I'm editing video, most of the time I boot into MX Linux. I only use Mac OS basically for editing video anymore. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.